There we are, guys. We're back at home now. This is me. Changed out of my wet clothing. I'm just going to towel drying it down now. Just using an old towel. And for a 10-month-old Poppy, this is just a game. It's not something she's overly used to because I've not had her out in a lot of wet. And it'll also get a lot of the old hair off and clean off that muck off her paws. And what I like to do now, even though it's about 10 to 1, I'm just looking at the clock, it's 10 to 1 now, she's due a lunch. Don't feed her a big lunch, she mainly has she's fed her 3 times a day at the moment, so she's having about 150 grams of large breed Purina puppy food in the morning, 100 grams at lunch and 150 at tea, but obviously when she's excitable like this and just give her a run, give her a little bit of time to calm down. And this is mainly why I haven't been greatly toweling her. One, she's not like a Labrador. They shed really easily anyway, water, after the mud and the wet off them. And this is what I mean by what I was talking about in the woodland. So there's a lot of excess skin there at the back. You can grab a dog like this and calm them down. It doesn't hurt them unless you really pull on it. And she still thinks it's a game. So then we'll ignore the jumping and we'll get a big ropey toy and let her burn off a little bit of this excess energy now with a rope toy. So this is really good exercise for you as a human being as well. She enjoys it, and this is a dog now that's just had nearly 2 hours in the woods. So I'm ready for a drink, but she's still full of beans, look, so you have to be aware with these pointing, retrieving type dogs, working dogs need a lot of exercise, awful lot of exercise, so you've got to be prepared for it, otherwise they'll find the fun themselves around the house, like I say, by being destructive or being mischievous. Now with claws as well, never needed to trim my Labrador's claws because he was always out on rough ground and open ground. Down. So to be a little bit firmer with her now because she's getting overly silly. So I'm holding her at the scruff of the neck. Down. Just calming her a little bit. Now this is a sign now that she'll be hungry and thirsty and really ready. I don't want to feed her while she's like this. So what I will do now is grab her. And she knows now she's gone too far, so I'll take her through to a crate to calm down a little bit. Come on. In you go. Whew. So we have a crate out in the hall, a dog crate. And she sleeps in there at night, so I'd highly recommend them, train them to a crate, and just get them used to. So it's not a punishment, that she just needs to calm down. So I've not scolded her, I've just taken her by the scruff. She doesn't have a collar on, so I've just taken her by the scruff of the neck and gently led her through, because she's starting to get very mouthy there, and her teeth are now adult size, they're really getting there. So well, after all that exercise, I'll give her 10 minutes there, she'll calm, and then I'll fetch her out, because the digestion, like with yourself, you don't want to be eating after you've just had a run, you know, not straight away. You want your system to calm down. All the blood that flowed to your muscles needs to go back to your gut and get ready for digesting food. It's no good in other places. Whew. So that's the hard work of having a puppy. And like I say, I've used a little towel just to dry her off, de-slough her, get some of that mud off. But they're short-haired, you know, these sort of dogs, the Vizslas and the Weimaraners, very short-haired. They're better off in the warm weather, to be fair, but she's not bothered. When she's moving about in this wet, cold weather, could still take her out now from about 5-6 months onwards. She's got enough body fat on her and enough energy to keep herself warm with her activity. If it gets very, very windy and very, very cold, she'll come back to you anyway. She won't like it. So it is important to keep an eye on them, obviously. The stick chewing and swallowing and eating is an ongoing issue. You know, I don't think that's ever going to change with with these sorts of breeds. However, distraction, like anything, distraction. If it's happening too often, you know, you've got to have a bit of faith in your dog. Use one hand to open up the jaw and fetch it out of the mouth, so they're not constantly swallowing sticks, because it's not good for the system, I'm sure. A little bit of roughage and a little bit, I'm sure, helps with digestion. A teeth cleaning, gum cleaning. But yeah, you don't want that happening too often. And this, again, they'll do that if they're bored or they want there's not other things to distract them. So you're best to recall, get them out, get them looking at other things, even with the toys, with the balls. Mabel doesn't seem to be interested in the tennis ball when we're out and about. She's just not that bothered. She's not a massive one on fetch and retrieve. It doesn't seem to be her big interest at the moment. I think if we were just out on an open field and there wasn't much else to excite her and interest her with smells, it would be a lot easier. But I'm going to get her a floating dummy for the warmer weather, for the reservoir and out, and get her out into the reservoir. To start with, on a long lead. She's already going in to the into the water up to nearly a belly height, not quite. So she's showing natural confidence anyway. But she still won't go in. If I throw small sticks in, she won't go in to swim and retrieve them. So that still is a fear. Can't remember with my Labrador how long it took. It's a good few years ago now, but it does take them till probably past 1. And once they get that confidence, you can't really keep them out of the water. They love with the web feet and it's just another form of stimulation and exercise for them. And it's grand. And we're ideal. This is why we've got this sort of breed where we live. If we hadn't have done, we've been in the city, then, like I say, you've got to have a lot of time, extra money and time to get out the suburbs and into a countryside area with a working dog like this. If you're going to have a lap toy dog, toy breed, a lot easier just to take them to the park and things. But they still need stimulation, those sorts of dogs. They need lots of stimulation for the nose, not just smelling other dogs, scent markings. They need that stimulation like we do for our brains, to stimulate it with entertainment and medias and various things. It's very important. So yeah, I hope that gives you a little insight into our Mabel. And I'll chat to you on another video.